Hey everybody, what's going on? We had a very busy week. We've had a lot going on, and we decided rather than post a bunch of videos throughout the week with E3 going on, we decided we needed to do just one great big video today covering everything we loved about E3.
Let's talk about this.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It has been a busy week for gaming. There was all kinds of game announcements at E3 this week that we really wanted to talk about. We can't cover them all, but we thought today we would go over our highlights, or what we thought were our highlights for E3 this year. So starting off, we're going to go with Metro Exodus.
Really cool looking game.
Yes.
Takes place in Russia.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure on the timeline, but it looks fairly futuristic.
Yeah.
You have monsters, there's other humans from the looks of it. There were all the big baddies and stuff in it. Not sure what the storyline on that's going to be exactly, but takes place in Russia, and that's cool on its own, really.
But yeah, the Metro games, they've been around for a while. They've got a huge cult following. I've played a little bit of Metro Last Light, mostly because it was one of the first Linux-compatible games on Steam whenever I was running my old Ubuntu system. Mm-hmm. Now, I really liked Metro Last Light. I know they got a cult following, but I've not really followed it to the point where I'm super knowledgeable over what Metro really is, because I don't really have the time to play a lot of single player games most days. But Metro Exodus looked really cool. It looked almost like it's hard to say, a grittier version of Fallout, but it did. Somehow they went darker with
well, again, it's Russian.
So Metro Exodus, yeah, it looked really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see on that. It looked fairly smooth, like the gameplay was pretty intuitive, really. From watching, obviously playing is a different story, but it looks like it's going to be pretty crisp, pretty fun.
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it's probably going to be the first Metro game that I will sit down and play through. Now, after playing through this one, whenever it does that finally come out, I will probably sit back down and finish Last Light and a couple of the other Metro games so I get my hands on them. Mm-hmm. So this might be a gateway to get me into playing these games that have been around for a while that I didn't even know exist. But moving on, because we don't have forever in this video, we're going to talk about Kingdom Hearts 3. We got some more gameplay footage. Now, this did focus more on Frozen and Elsa and that side of the universe, but I'm more excited than I was the week before that, when I was more excited the week before that. I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3 is a game we've all been waiting for a long time.
Yes.
So I don't think they can show me anything more to make me more excited about this game. I mean, I'm already at my peak. I cannot be more excited. Just give me the game already.
We've been waiting long enough. Now, one thing I am pretty excited to see about is whether or not they're going to introduce any of the new Final Fantasy characters.
That will be... I don't know.
They have Cloud, they have Squall. They have the Final Fantasy 7, they had Final Fantasy 8.
Yeah. I
haven't seen any from 9 or 10 or anything like that.
I'm sure we'll get at least one or two characters from the newer ones. They have to. We're getting newer characters from the Disney movies. I'm sure we're going to get new characters from the same world of Final Fantasy. So,
personally, I want to see them introduce Steiner from Final Fantasy 9. He was my guy. I loved him and Vivi from Final Fantasy 9. Get those into it, and
we'll have to wait and see. I mean, this is the era for DLC. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 wasn't really a DLC era. I mean, it existed, but it wasn't huge. So it'd be interesting to see how many chapters we get when it comes to additional content to this game.
Yeah. They're going to add a lot, and I agree. And moving on, next we have We Happy Few. Now, this one here, I'm actually really excited about. It looks like it takes place in a society that's being completely overtaken by their government. I'm guessing everyone's forced to be happy or appear happy. From the trailers that I've seen before, it looks like they're either being drugged or something to do with the mask. I don't know exactly how all that works, but the story just looks amazing. The setting looks amazing. The art, the whole thing.
It's really cool. It does. I got to admit, I've not been following this game greatly, but I do know, and I have heard through the grapevine that I've known about this game for a while now. At least the last 2 years, I've heard about this game being in development. And to see the developers are taking their time with it to work on it, properly do it, and they're not just trying to rush it. Hello, neighbor. But it definitely looks cool. I'm excited to see, because I've heard from insider information that this game is it's awesome. I've heard from a lot of people that this game is really cool and it's really fun, and to see the developers taking their time with it and polish it makes me happy.
Yeah, which I've mentioned before, I'm perfectly fine with waiting for a game as long as it's going to be quality content and they don't overly extend the amount of time that they're taking. Yeah. So, 2 thumbs up for me already. I cannot wait to play this game.
Yes, looks good.
Yes.
Moving on to, honestly, what was my highlight from E3 was Devil May Cry 5. Now, when I initially saw this trailer and I saw the way it is Nero, I know we mentioned in our E3 speculation video that I really, really, really hoped it was real, and I really hoped they were continuing the story with Nero. Now, when the trailer launched or first showed up, and you see Nero sitting in there with his short hair, I thought that's Dante from the DMC reboot. No, God, how could they do this? But no, it's Nero with short hair. The art style does feel a lot more like the rebooted version than it does the classic, but I think that's just because that's where technology is now. We're getting more realistic, and yeah, I cannot be more excited about a hack and slash game. Because really, those aren't I don't like a bunch of just the same repetitive nonsense with boss fights. But Devil May Cry has a soft spot in my heart, so I'm definitely.
Well, it's got enough variety with the bosses and everything. From the few that I've played, he's the big Devil May Cry fan here. But from the few that I've played, there's a lot of variety in it, and it keeps it going to where you're not going to just feel bogged down throughout.
Yeah.
So it's fast action, fast story. Really keeps you moving, and it looks really, really good.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping. I have not seen any gameplay. I've just seen what was shown in the trailer. Open world, please give me that open world Devil May Cry game. No more of these, linear paths you have to take with the maps. Give me open world. If they made this game open world, oh my god, it would be amazing. But that's all the time we got for that one. So moving on to the next one.
Next one, we're going to have Jump Force.
Oh yeah, Jump Force.
Yeah, that one I'm skeptical about.
I'm skeptical about it because we already have. J-Stars. Yeah. J-Stars Versus.
Yeah.
I've got it on the PlayStation 4, and I like it. It's an enjoyable game, but it's... I don't know.
I thought the J-Stars was okay.
Yeah.
And my fear for Jump Force is that it's going to be the same thing.
Yes.
Just kind of okay.
From the gameplay I've seen, it looks kind of like it's going to be the same style game. And if you guys have played J-Stars Versus, it is fun, but it's not really a beat 'em up like you'd think. I mean, your characters have classes and styles. Some are support roles, some are, and it gets kind of complicated. There's a lot of strategy.
It felt very unfinished to me.
It does. It
feels like there's a lot of open space, and that they just had it there for the sake of having it.
Yeah.
And I'm really afraid they're going to do the same thing here. Not to mention the fact that we all know that Frieza would just destroy all those guys from Naruto, from One Piece. I'm sorry, I love those other anime, but there's no way that somebody who could destroy a planet is going to be beaten by a guy who can, bust up a mountain.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it looks cool. I'm going into it with reservations.
Do we like the idea of a crossover event? Yes, they've done it in the animes. I mean, we've seen it was a race for a giant piece of meat, with
Toriko and the rabbits.
We've seen it in the anime. This stuff, it's all fun. It's all, I love having the fan fiction about it, but I don't know how well. J-Stars Versus, like I said, it's fun, but it doesn't translate very well, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense when you're Goku and you're getting beat up by Luffy. It just doesn't.
Yeah, it's not that for us.
Looking forward to it, looking forward to trying it, but like Nathan said, somewhat skeptical about it.
Yeah.
Now, what's next?
And next we have something I'm super excited about, really. Battletoads.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be a sequel or if it's a remake or what it is, but I played the crap out of this game when I was a kid, and this is really, really cool for me.
I think the older generation is definitely going to be more excited about this than the younger generation. The younger generation does not know who Battletoads are.
No.
Those of us that were around for NES and SNES and played the Double Dragon versus the Battletoads and all the Battletoads games, and then was excited when the Battletoads came to Killer Instinct on the Xbox. This is huge, at least for us as old people. It's awesome. I cannot wait. I'm hoping it's still a platformer like the originals were. Yes. I hope they don't change too much to try to it could be great, it could be really bad, but I'm very, very optimistic and hopeful Battletoads will be...
There's so much that they can do with this. The coolest thing for me, just a little side note on this, I thought it was the coolest thing when you go to kick somebody else and you have this giant foot on the screen. I don't know why, but that always stuck out in my memory, and I hope they have some sort of unique little quirk about it that
it looks like,
out this time.
From what we saw in the trailer, it looked like they're going to go with a 2D hand-drawn animation route with this, which is the way to go. Cuphead has proved it. It can be done. It can be done really well. Cuphead's one of the greatest games that's released recently, and it could have came out 20 years ago. I mean, so it's really cool. I really love what they're doing with the game developers going that route and not just, hey, it looks pretty, runs like crap, but it looks pretty. No, they give us something. I don't care if it looks bad. Give us something that plays well. Well,
they've proven that you can have that 2D style,
that
side scroller and all that stuff, and it can still look great, and it can run great.
Yeah.
So I mean, hype. Yes. Okay. And next we're going on to Control. Now, I didn't get to see a whole lot of what was actually going on with the trailer. We saw some explosions. We saw bits of the environment being thrown around. And apparently that's what you can use in order to fight your foes.
Yeah.
But I didn't really see anything on story or anything like that.
It said control your environment, and yeah, there wasn't a whole lot to unveil. The reason I'm optimistic about this game is it kind of, from what I saw, reminded me a lot of a game that was out on PlayStation 2 and GameCube that you might not know of. It was called Second Sight, where you played a patient that had lost your memory and you had psychic powers. And you kind of had to go back and forth to figure out, who you were, how did you get these powers, and I really enjoyed it. It was a game that didn't get a lot of attention, but I loved it. I played through it like 3 times, and if it came out today, I'd play it again. So, I mean, that's what I kind of took away from the trailer. It kind of looked very similar. So I'm optimistic because I'm hoping it's something along those lines. So.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed on that one. Like I said, we didn't know a whole lot about it. Just something to really kind of keep your eye on for that one. Moving on, next we have Spider-Man.
Yes, Spider-Man PS4.
Now, that one's been in talks for a while.
Yes, that one's, I mean, a lot of what they showed at the Sony panel was a lot of what we saw last year. Now, and that kind of had me disappointed because, when I see E3, I really do like to see new stuff. And with Sony's panel this year, it was a lot of the same stuff we saw last year, just more of it. Now, I mean, you have theorized on why that was, and I think, which we'll talk about at the end of the video. Yes, Spider-Man PS4, obviously, I love all the Spider-Man games, even the ones that didn't really do so well. I mean, I played the original ones back on the old, well, not the original, but the original one you started getting the open world and the web swinging back in Spider-Man. Spider-Man the movie 1 was the first one that kind of went that route. And the original Spider-Man games on PlayStation 1 and stuff that did that. Yeah. And now this one looks really promising. It does.
It looks promising. It looks smooth. The swinging action and everything looked like it was really well done. Now you've always got the same problem. Where's the web attaching to? Yeah. That's always going to be a thing. I think in every Spider-Man game, there were some of them. It was kind of like he was swinging out over the water. Not real sure where it was connecting to. It looked like
they've corrected that in some of the newer ones where you have to actually connect it to stuff. And you can tell from this one that he has to aim his web. He has to aim where he's going to go mid-swing, which I like. I really enjoy that. I like a lot of the mechanics in these games. Spider-Man's a game where if you go open world with it, you can do a lot with it. And if you do it right... now, the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 games, they did not do commercially very well. Mostly because you could tell they were more of a cash grab at the movies than they were trying to appease game fans. Now, it looks like finally with Insomniac taking over the mantle with Spider-Man PS4, it looks like they're focusing on the game. They're not focusing on building up a movie franchise. They're not focusing on shining more light on the cartoons or toys or action figures. They're focusing on providing a good game.
Well, with other games like Ratchet and Clank and Insomniac's lineup, I mean, these guys, they're tried and true. They're going to come out with something good. Yeah. And having them at the helm for this, I'm really excited to see what they come up with.
They've been teasing at a new Oculus title as well, and I'm very interested to see what they do with that because Insomniac, they've made a couple pretty good VR games now, but they're teasing a big one for Oculus this year. I'm hoping to see some more on that here soon too on the Insomniac front. But moving on.
And next